Hi, in this video, I'm going to cover traffic to build my massive gridless realistic city builder. But first, oh, what on earth? How? What? My last video, the part one in the series, I suppose, got over 180,000 views, and I now have, I think close to, yeah, 9,000 subscribers. I honestly can't, I honestly can't believe this. I had no idea that, it would resonate with people like this. I had no, idea what the video would do, but I'm just very, very glad that people understood kind of my point, where I was coming from. A lot of people seem to have the same gripes as me. And honestly, thank you all for the support. Everyone saying, it's a lovely comments, telling me to continue with this, expressing your own gripes, being limited to a grid. And honestly, I've had so much different ideas and people talk, giving their feedback, their ideas. I kind of regret saying in the video, I'll answer all your comments because wow, that's a lot of comments. But I've tried to answer as many as I can. I'll keep answering them. But in the meantime, I thought I could help by going back through my parceling system because a lot of the questions people have, I actually have answers to, but I kind of undersold my parceling system demo that I made. What I missed mainly from my last parceling demo was the mixed zoning, row houses, parks, dynamic building sizes, the road direction, and the offset and courtyards. So I'm going to demo all those quickly, and hopefully this will answer a lot of questions people have. So here we are in my parceling engine. I just want to demo some of the things that I've already built in this, and I didn't show off in my video. So here we go. We just have a block here, and I'm going to make a parcel in the middle. And what I've done here is you can see I've got an offset down here. So I'm just going to say enter. Okay, now I'm going to click this and I'm going to put the offset, I'll leave at 90, and I'm going to use my skeleton subdivision. Boom. Some people asked how would we do courtyards and stuff like that. Well, it would work like this. If a parcel of land is too big and the property could not meet it, the offset would actually be controlled by the land developer like this. This is a pretty good system, I believe, to make those people happy. You could say Barcelona is confirmed, I guess, because I know they have a lot of buildings like this. Speaking of like Barcelona, Europe, a lot of people were saying, oh, they really hope it's not like an American centric city builder. And it definitely won't be. I'm not American. I've lived in Europe. I live in Asia and originally from the UK. So, I've seen pretty much a lot of it. And some people were asking about row housing. So I do have that as a concept in my parceling engine. So if you remember in this system here, I let you choose a zone and then you could generate buildings. I actually have a row building here, so you can generate row buildings like this. It's a little bit glitchy, but those brown blocks are supposed to be row houses. I never fully finished this, but I do have it as a concept. Something else that I didn't show off was if I go to debugging roads, so you see these little arrows here. These arrows will actually tell the parcel of land where the road is. So by default, buildings would normally face the road, especially in a residential setting. But if this was, say, a huge apartment block, then instead of it facing the road, well, it would still need to face the road, but the buildings wouldn't have to. The buildings could face instead of the road if there was a large, beautiful landmark nearby. We could actually try to point the buildings toward that, like buildings tend to want a seaside view, for example. And also, I didn't show off this, which is a bit silly of me. Let's make another road quickly. Oh dear, sorry. Let me just restart that. Again, this is just a demo. This is not the city builder. This was something I built in my spare time to try to, essentially to prototype all these ideas. There's a bunch of different subdivision types here and buildings. Boom, let's build that. Click on that. I'm going to make this a park instead. So you see here, these are the zoning types I'm trying to test against. So I have residential, commercial, industrial, office, normal, but I also have rural, mixed use. So you can have mixed use buildings, public or institution, parks, public works, and public transit. But I want to show you a park. Oh, I got to generate buildings. Boom, there you go. Oh, that's an interesting one. This actually uses flow fields to decide where the pathways go. So this one's kind of a crazy one, but this would all be configurable in the procedural generation settings. Even imagine this was actually a huge apartment building; it would still have paths inside of it. So, and office blocks also have paths inside of it. So I am building a system to do that. Now, in this video, I'm not going to go into the procedural generation. I don't want to do that precisely right now, but I do want to talk a little bit about, how I'm doing things like the building sizes. So I'm going to make a parcel of land here, and I'm deliberately going to try to force it to have maybe some weird triangular parcels of land. So I'm going to deliberately give it this weird little shape. Let's put a road in there so it knows where to build a road. Okay, let's see if my skeleton subdivision will do that. Okay, let me just make it a little bit small. Can I make it a little bit smaller? Oh, that's good. Yeah. Okay. Park just appeared. That's normal. Again, this is a very this is an old build, by the way. I should mention that. I'll show you later, but I did actually. I've been working on this for over 2 years. So if you look at this, this is my Git. This is my Git history, and this is for the parceling engine. Yeah, I started working about 2 years ago. A lot of the work on this was actually done 2 years ago, and then I picked it up again 10 months ago, and very recently, obviously, I've been doing stuff to it. But back to here, I wanted to quickly show you the parcels of land. So again, you could build like a little residential. So there you go. The residential blocks fit in nicely. But what if you have a weirdly shaped parcel of land like this? Now I'm going to show you in an office only because offices are the only ones I have right now that follow this. But the plan is that the buildings would actually, you see that office there? It will actually try to fit the building's footprint, the parcel of land's footprint a little bit better. So that is an idea I have for oddly shaped parcel of land. Again, I'm not going to go into all the simulation right now, but I do just want to discuss, I have a plan for this and we'll do the procedural generation in another video. Some people ask me if this was AI generated, if I used AI to make this parceling engine. No, I didn't, but I did use it to help me with the UI. And I think that's why some people ask if it's AI generated, because yeah, this UI does scream AI. I can show you what it looked like beforehand, though. It used to look like this. This is the UI before I had an AI come and help me with it. So again, I had an AI come in quickly to clean it up to make it look a bit more presentable for people. This is how the UI used to look, though. It's very, very rough. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some other comments I got. Some people were asking me, oh, this could just be a mod for City Skylines 2 and City Skylines. And I actually did try to make this into a mod at one point. However, again, as you can see, I spent over 2 years on this. So I really didn't fancy taking all this effort and work I did to essentially make a free mod for a game which I have criticisms for. Another common critique I would say was people saying it's too ambitious, too big. Maybe I should explain a little bit about myself. So I'm a software engineer by trade. I build software for clients, either doing offshore development or nearshore development, but I actually run large software teams building software for clients. And when I'm working with a client, at the beginning, we do something called blue sky thinking. So a lot of the things I'm talking about might be a bit blue sky, a bit pie in the sky, but I do want to talk about them. It is important that we discuss all the possibilities. I don't want to leave anything on the floor if it would help make a better city simulation game. And I'm like this with my clients. But another thing I do in the software world, because I charge by the hour, so clients don't want to waste time. I don't want to waste time. I want to make sure that we build the best software and that everyone's happy. So I have already built a lot of subsystems. The parceling engine is just one subsystem. And in this video, I'm also going to show you the traffic subsystem I built. And again, these are just subsystems. They are not they're not the core game yet. So let's go into traffic. We have types of traffic simulation we could do. So this is a still from a great video about an introduction to traffic simulation. I'll leave a link to it in the comments. And you have this concept of macroscopic, which is large scale traffic. Then at the other end, you have microscopic, like agent based simulation, where you actually see little cars driving around and everything. Some people mentioned in my last video, they kind of heard me maybe distancing myself from agent based simulation because my goal is to make a huge game. So, what I've landed on is the middle part, the mesoscopic simulation method. Now, for SimCity 4, they were a purely statistical simulation, what we would call macro. But cars were just cosmetic, and the traffic model computes trips, just statistically, and uses some basic pathfinding. And I think they actually use some cellular automata as well to, work out commute times, desirability, and all that. And that system worked. And again, SimCity 4 is an older game. It's so again, I shouldn't really be comparing much to it. But a lot of people love SimCity 4. I love SimCity 4. And then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have City Skylines. Now, I uh, I don't trash talk, but I was definitely critiquing City Skylines for being grid based and all that. However, I should mention when it comes to traffic, I don't think they've done anything wrong. I think the per agent, what I would call micro simulations of the traffic and the pedestrians, is beautiful. I like it. I think it's great. It's really good. Honestly, it looks great. And bad decisions actually lead to genuine traffic. But as I said before, it's expensive. There is a cap on how many active vehicles you can use, how big your city can get, and the agents are a bottleneck there. But again, I love it. Okay, I love it to bits. Here it is. This is just what my game I played a while ago. But look at that. Oh, I love it. Look at all those little guys. Look at the little guys. Look at the little guys down there going into the subway, and all the cars and the ambulance. It's great. Honestly, no notes about this traffic simulation. The issue I have with it is that it is a bottleneck, and quite frankly, I don't want to essentially reinvent the wheel by doing agent based simulation again, because then I am just going to be making city skylines, but worse. So let's talk about my traffic simulation. So, what I'm going for is a linked transmission model. It's a very old model. This isn't like anything new or groundbreaking. This does aggregate flow density per link, not per vehicle. This allows us to have kinematic waves. So traffic actually pulses realistically. And what I do that's interesting is that, as I said in my last video, this is a web GPU compute shader. It's also layered with a dynamic traffic model that I've built, which I'll talk about later on. And my model, hopefully, I'll show you a working build of it, will reproduce acceleration fans, standing queues, and stop and go waves in traffic. The last paper I read on this that I felt was really, really good was this paper here. And again, I'll try to remember to leave a link for it in the description of the video. The LTM model has been around pretty much since the 1950s. This is a great extension of it. It made it a lot of the math equations here make it a lot more realistic looking, but also save on compute time. So yeah, LTM is a 20-year-old model, peer-reviewed transport engineering theory. My dynamic traffic assignment, which I have not built yet, I'm going to be straight, But what I'm using is I want to use a dilineal curve to simulate morning peaks and evening crescents and all that. So then I can actually have what would look like a realistic day and night cycle without constantly talking to the computer's code. And the route choices would then respond to current traffic conditions. So I'm not just doing static geography. I'm actually going to be, rerouting changes when there's congestion. The whole concept here is I want to simulate flow, not drivers. The roads are like pipes. Traffic is a compressible fluid. So if you can manage all the, if you can imagine all the traffic, it's just fluid being pushed along the tube. And this is why we can get what would hopefully be realistic looking shock waves and real, the traffic will feel consequential like city skylines, but will scale more like SimCity 4. That's my main goal. So let me show you a demo of the traffic system I've built. Okay, here it is. Oh, wait, that's just a flat quad. Well, if I can zoom in here to give you an idea of scale, this is supposed to be the size of a small house, I suppose, or a medium-sized house. So first things first, let me just show you the traffic model in its most basic form. So you can build a road like this. Right now, everything is straight. There are no Bezier curves or anything yet. I actually did have Bezier curves working at one point. So I'm going to make a very unoptimal traffic system here, just to hopefully it will show off the traffic simulation. So I'm going to make a little, just a little, like this could be maybe a little residential block, and over here we'll make a sort of town center like this, and you have to go through the town center to get to the industrial sector, which will be over here. Again, this is just to simulate traffic. This is not to simulate, any economic models, any, realistic zoning. Or right now, this is just to simulate the traffic, pretty much. Okay, now I'm gonna fill these in. So I'm gonna bring up my ugly debug menu, and I actually have an autofill parcels here. So I'm gonna build up the residential. Boop, boop, boop. Again, these are all pretending to be big city blocks. It wouldn't actually be like this. I'm only doing this because I'm stress testing the system. Boop. There's a commercial district, and we're going to do a large industrial district here. And you can already see the traffic is moving now, and you can see the red and everything going along. There we go. And the traffic is flowing nicely through the commercial and into the industrial. And the industrial, I'm guessing the reason why the traffic is not completely gridlocked here is because I don't have enough workers. I actually have more jobs than I have workers. Oof, wouldn't that be a nice world to live in? So let's just quickly expand into my residential here. Do it like that. I like making into blocks, autofill the parcel. I want the residential. Boom, boom. There you go. Adding that now. Look how red that's getting now. Because I got more people who need to get into the city, and the traffic has actually got turned gridlocked already. And you can kind of see the fan pattern here. Now, you'll notice here, we actually do have little pedestrians as well. That was another question people had for me. They said, oh, I hope it's not going to be too car centric. I hope people will try to walk if they can. And I even have built a system like this. Probably should put it here. There we go. That's a little walk path, and hopefully people will start using it to get from work to here. It might be too much of a greater distance though for people to try and walk on it. Um, hmm. People aren't walking on that. Well, let's try to fix up this congestion. So the roads I actually have a uh, where is it? Oh. Um, right now, this is all single lane roads, by the way, but let's put a larger, let's just do a huge three-way road here. And let's just say we want that to go straight to the industrial park like this. There you go. And see, the traffic's already being used, and hopefully after time, this will ease off. Now, the congestion doesn't just disappear immediately. Those people are still in congestion. So we have to wait a while until those people can actually get out of the congestion and they will re-enter the population. My little walkway isn't working here, which I'm a bit upset about. I should have tested that more. Does it work here? Hmm. Well, the paths need to be worked on. I did have little people walking on them, I promise. But people are using the roads anyway, so that's pretty cool. What you might have noticed when I was in my road section is that I actually have a difference between American and European. Right now, all the roads look the same, but I do want it that the roads can be completely customizable. So if I was to select European, but you can actually then toggle the road to be American or European. This is just to show that I can skin the way the roads look. But in future, this will actually have more, um, this will be a bit more tangible, and I probably won't call them American or Europe. The idea is that you, as a player or a modder, can actually add whatever road type you want at the beginning and have the 3D mesh adapt to it. And every time I change the 3D mesh here, what's actually happening is a new, this whole entire road network is being made into one mesh. Because what's interesting about this system is this is all running off web GPU. The entire thing is actually all web GPU. Nothing here is using the CPU. This is all using a big compute shader. There you go. The traffic cleaned up there. Sorry, that was something I did by accident. There's still traffic trying to get into here. So again, I could maybe make a little road here. Let me show my make a I can make one-way roads on. Let's make a little two-way road and just put that over here like that. There we go. There we go. The pedestrians right now are very visual. They're not really acting the way I expect them to, but I'm going to keep working on that. Now, that's all well and good, right? That's a little city. Isn't that cute? But it's not really, it's not, this is nothing impressive. So I'm going to refresh and I'm going to quickly generate a stress grid. Here we go. This is a stress grid. Now, if you look at my FPS, it's still a solid 60 FPS, even with all these buildings here. And that's because everything here is using GPU instantiation when possible. Meshes are being grouped together naturally. So again, this whole road network is actually one mesh doing essentially a singular draw call. There is some chunking involved, but it's pretty minimal. And I'm going to go in and put in some fake traffic for you. So we're actually going to have all these road networks have real traffic built in. So give me a second. There we go. Traffic is in. Now everything immediately got gridlocked. Again, that's because everything is single two-way roads with everything's a singular two-way road. And you can see the incoming, the left and the right side of traffic have different, layers of gridlock. And what you'll see here is on the outskirts of the city, people are walking to work. You see all these little people here. They're actually going to the commercial district because I was at the residential, commercial, industrial. But if I go into the center of the city, people are still trying to drive, but you'll notice no people because nobody's going to walk from the middle of here all the way to out here. Yeah. So again, this is all using a GPU compute shader. And again, my FPS is not being impacted one iota. It's the exact same. I can zoom around. I can be silly. Look at that. Oh, I also have a pseudo sun that comes out. I think we can watch the sunrise here. Let's try and get a nice shot here. There we go. Beautiful. But I know, but then the next point is, okay, well, that's a very nice flat city you have, but real cities aren't like that. And I agree with you. So this, I've also built in a terrain editor. So I'm going to quickly wipe out this city and I'm going to add in some terrain. Give me 1 second. And here we go. Here is some terrain with quite ridiculous looking hills, honestly. This is a bit too much, honestly, but I wanted to show off the lake generation as well. And just to pick up from my last point, okay, so I'm going to quickly build a road here. Let's just try and get somewhere nice. Now, actually, I actually have an overlay system. So I have this buildability overlay, which will actually overlay the terrain with where it can and cannot be built. So you'll notice here on the side of cliffs, it can't really be built. And obviously you can't build underwater. So I'm looking for some flatter green areas like this where it would be nice to build. Again, this is all very early days. This is supposed to be a demo of the traffic system, but I have built in a full terrain system, and I am using this game engine, which I'll go into more detail later about. So let me quickly put an overlay on. Let's quickly just make a quick road here. And again, the roads do not play nice with the terrain right now, but that's okay. Again, this is all very early days still. Build a parcel by hand because I want to show off the concept of that. Here we go. There we go. I'm sorry, the buildings get automatically made. But if you click on the land itself, you'll see here that it will actually tell you how much of that land is buildable. So this is 196 square meters of land, but only 56% of it's buildable and 21% of it's water. How much of it is a slope? So this is the sort of idea I have that we could take a parcel of land and to judge how much of it can be used, how much of it can't be used. And of course, different developers and different zoning would have different, tolerances for that kind of stuff. Forgive the squares. Due to the fact that this is using GPU instantiating, it's much easier for me to make lots of little squares to indicate things. But realistically, this is not a grid. I don't want people to think that I've betrayed my principles and this is a grid. This is not a grid. It's still a polygon. It just looks like that. And I can autofill a parcel here. Click on that. This has no water, and it's quite buildable. These are the slope calculations a little bit aggressive, but again, this is a very aggressive terrain. Again, it wouldn't really look like that. And I can actually take this, and if I wanted to, I could still build the test grid on this if I wanted to. Actually, I can quickly do it now. Give me a sec. There we go. And the test grid's pretty interesting because it does show you where some buildings can and cannot be built. There you go. Look at that. That looks like I'm sure that looks like some city somewhere. Um, so here it is. And again, full terrain. There's a sun. The traffic simulation will be running in a bit, and I'm still at a solid 60 frames a second. Never dipped once. And I have gotten this to be bigger. The only reason I haven't gone bigger is because I'm getting this simulation sorted first before I scale up. Roads still get built underwater, but that's like that. I hope that's acceptable for now. Post editing James here. I forgot to talk about the terrain itself. The terrain itself is also a compute shader. I represent the terrain as a massive matrix, and that allows me to very quickly edit it, and the GPU can very easily draw it because GPUs love matrices. So the plan moving forward, a lot of people asked about the plan, and a lot of people were very sweet in saying, "Oh, where do I donate? How do I get involved? I want to help you. Hey, I have a traffic system you can use. Oh, I want to build buildings for you and all that." And I'm so like, my heart's warmed by all the support and people wanting to give me their time. And as somebody who works in the software outsourcing industry, who's used to being nickel and dime for every hour, I love that people's passion. But I'm also, I'm also older. I help run a business. I understand that people's time is valuable. So I'm really trying. I don't want to use anyone's time and labor unless I can reward them monetarily, essentially. So my plan going forward is to make an engaging and accurate population and economy system, make a traffic system that plays well, a basic, what I'm going to call the lo-fi game loop, kind of what I showed you with the traffic simulation, but with the population simulation in there and with the parcel subdivision in there is probably what I'm aiming to do. And basic procedural generation of buildings. After I get all that done, then I'll probably start looking for money to build a team. That is my plan moving forward. And on the right hand side here, this is one of my graphs. I'm not showing the whole thing, so a lot of it is like this isn't a finished graph. It's kind of just something I put together. And that's it for part 2. In the next video, which will be part 3, I will be going over the simulation, precisely how exactly we are going to simulate pops in the city, and I will also go over the game engine in a bit more detail. Right now you can just see, and one of the subsystems I've built, this is for district level pop movement and simulation.